Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends. We have discussed about resistance, its units, etc. in the previous video. Resistance is the opposition to the flow of electric current through a conductor. The resistance of a conductor depends on the length of the conductor, area of cross-section of the conductor, and nature of the material of the conductor. Actually, the resistance of a uniform metallic conductor, if I am representing that resistance by capital letter R, it is actually directly proportional to its length, the length of the conductor. That is, we can write R is proportional to L. Okay, that is when length of the conductor increases, resistance also increases. Okay, then the resistance of a conductor, of a uniform metallic conductor, it is inversely proportional to the area of cross section. Okay, resistance is inversely proportional, that is why 1 by A. Okay, resistance is directly proportional to the length of the conductor. Resistance is inversely proportional to the area of cross section or cross sectional area of that conductor. Okay, since it is inversely proportional, this A is written in the denominator. Okay, R is proportional to L, R is proportional to 1 by A. That is, when length of the conductor increases, resistance also increases. When area of cross-section of the conductor increases, what happens to the resistance of the conductor? It decreases because they are inversely proportional. So when area of cross-section increases, the resistance of that conductor decreases. When area of cross-section decreases, then resistance increases. Now, let this be a copper wire. It is an electrical conductor. Okay, and let this be another copper wire. Suppose that both these copper wires 1 and 2 have the same cross-sectional area. That is, when I am taking a cross-section of these two wires, I will get the same area for both the cross-sections of the wires. Okay, but they are of different lengths. Okay, suppose that both these copper wires 1 and 2 have same cross-sectional area. That is, area A is the same for both the copper wires, but they are having different lengths. See, this is only has this much length, but this has this much length. Okay, that is, it has more length than the first copper wire. Okay, so both these copper wires are of same cross-sectional area but different lengths. That is, A is same but length L is different. Now, which among these two copper wires will provide more resistance if the same current I flows through both the conductors? Which will provide more resistance? The second one will provide more resistance, no? Because we know that R is directly proportional to the length of the conductor. It has more length than this one. Okay, so when length increases, the resistance provided by that conductor to the flow of electricity also increases. So this one, the second one, will provide more resistance. Okay, now consider another two copper wires. Okay, this is the first one and this is the second one. Both have same length. Okay, for example, 10 centimeter, 10 centimeter, like that. Both have same lengths but different cross-sectional area or different area of cross-section. That is, you can see that one is thicker than the other wire. Okay, so they are of same lengths but different area of cross-section. They are having different area of cross-section or cross-sectional area. One is thicker than the other. So which among these two will provide more resistance for the same current flows through both the conductors? Which will provide more resistance? The first one will provide more resistance, no? Why? Because it has less cross-sectional area. Okay, it is actually, this one is thicker than this. Okay, so its area of cross-section is less compared to this. When area of cross-section is less, what about the resistance? Okay, area of cross-section, it is in the denominator. Resistance is inversely proportional to area of cross-section. When area of cross-section decreases, what happens to resistance? Resistance increases. Right, so comparing these two, this one has less area of cross-section, a cross-sectional area. So it will provide more resistance to the flow of electricity through that or electric current through that conductor. Alright, now you see here we have these two expressions. R is resistance of a conductor is directly proportional to the length of the conductor and inversely proportional to the area of cross section. So by combining these two expressions, we can write R is proportional to L and R is proportional to 1 by A. So these two can be combined to write one equation, write one relation like this. Now R is proportional to L divided by A. Now, by replacing this proportionality sign with an equal sign, we should write one proportionality constant over here, no? Right. So, I am replacing this proportionality sign with an equal sign and I am writing one proportionality constant. This one is rho. Okay, this is the constant of proportionality used here. This one is rho. Then, L is here divided by A. Okay, so this constant of proportionality used here, rho, it is actually called as electrical resistivity of the material of the conductor. Okay, this rho is actually called as electrical resistivity. Okay, electrical resistivity of the material of the conductor. Alright, now what will be the SI unit of resistivity? We have the expression resistance is equal to some resistivity, a constant of proportionality used here, into length L divided by area of cross section. I want to know about the SI unit of resistivity. So first of all, I'm just writing one equation right like this. Okay, rho equal to, I'm taking A to this side, so that goes to the numerator. So R into A. Then I'm taking L to this side, that goes to the denominator. So divided by L. Right, from this expression we can write rho equal to RA divided by L. Then SI unit of resistivity will be equal to what? SI unit of resistance into SI unit of area. Okay, area of cross section, whatever it is the area. So SI unit is meter square divided by SI unit of length is meter. Okay, 1 meter and 1 meter from the numerator can be cancelled. So rest we have ohm meter. So ohm meter is the SI unit of resistivity. Okay. Resistivity is a characteristic property of the material. Metals and alloys have very low resistivity in the range of 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter to 10 raised to minus 6 ohm meter. So metals and alloys have very low resistivity in the range of 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter to 10 raised to minus 6 ohm meter. For example, electrical resistivity of silver is, that is at a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. So, at a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius, the electrical resistivity of silver is about 1.60 into 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter. Okay, then for copper at 20 degrees Celsius, its electrical resistivity value is about 1.62 into 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter. Okay, now if we consider an alloy that is constant, it is actually an alloy of copper and nickel. Its resistivity value rho is 49 into 10 raised to minus 6 ohm meter at a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, so metals and alloys have very low resistivity. You see 10 raised to minus power. Okay, 10 to the power of 10 to the a negative power is here. 10 raised to minus 8, 10 raised to minus 6 like that. So metals and alloys have very low resistivity values. Hence, they are good conductors of electricity. Resistivity for a material is a constant at a constant temperature, but resistivity varies with temperature. Both the resistance and resistivity of a material vary with the temperature, but at a constant temperature, we will get a constant value for the resistivity of a particular material. Okay, insulators like rubber, glass have resistivity of the order of 10 raised to 12, a positive power 10 raised to 12 to 10 raised to 17 ohm meter. Okay, that is insulators have very high resistivity values, so they won't conduct electricity easily through them. Now, let us compare the resistivity of an alloy with its constituent metals. That is, resistivity of constant, which is an alloy of copper and nickel, is 49 into 10 raised to minus 6 ohm meter. Okay, now resistivity of its constituent metals, that is of copper and nickel, are, for copper it is 1.62 into 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter, and for nickel its resistivity value is about 6.84 into 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter. Okay, so resistivity of constant then at 20 degrees Celsius is 49 into 10 raised to minus 6 ohm meter. Then resistivity of its constituent metals, that is of copper and nickel, are 1.62 into 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter and 6.84 into 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter respectively. So you see, resistivity of the alloy constant then is in the order of 10 raised to minus 6, and resistivity of its constituent metals is in the order of 10 raised to minus 8. 10 raised to minus 6, I'm sorry, 10 raised to minus 6 is greater than 10 raised to minus 8, no? Right. So resistivity of an alloy is generally higher than that of its constituent metals. Okay, 10 raised to minus 6 is greater than 10 raised to minus 8. Okay, so resistivity of an alloy is generally higher than that of its constituent metals. Alloys do not oxidize or burn readily at high temperatures. And because of this reason, alloys are commonly used in electrical heating devices like electric iron box, electric toasters, etc. Tungsten, which is an alloy which is used for making filament of electric bulb, because it has high resistivity, so it does not burn easily, and it has high melting point too. So tungsten does not melt easily due to the heat produced, due to the passage of electric current through the filament. And copper and aluminium are generally used for electrical transmission lines because they have low resistivity and are good conductors of electricity. So, in this video, we have discussed about the factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends, and we have discussed about the resistivity values we have compared the resistivity values of alloys, insulators and conductors, metals. I hope you understood this. Thank you.